Another factor that people look at why they would buy new over old is because in the older days, the new condominiums carried usually or associated a lower maintenance cost over the older buildings. Now, given our industry in the last 5, 6, 7 years, because of the quality of work that's been going in and because of the way things are done, what we're finding is that actually that's starting to change. And we're actually seeing the maintenance costs in the older buildings sometimes lower and offer more benefits or more features in the price, like utilities included, swimming pools, squash courts, and so on, which the new buildings do not offer. Actually, they still charge a higher maintenance cost. So from cost perspective, the old concept that a new construction was a lower maintenance cost is not necessarily true. The second aspect that came up, and there's a number of reasons for that, and I'll explain that in a minute. The other aspect that came up is, well, why are the maintenance costs are what they are? Condominium fees, and I call them maintenance costs, but technically it's condominium fees because it consists of two factors. The operating cost for the condominium, what it would cost to run the building on an annual basis, plus the reserve component, which is the savings the condominium corporation needs in order to build up your reserve fund to allow for future repairs and replacements in the building and betterment of the building. So basically what we have to look at is this. When you buy an existing, you know exactly what you're getting. You know, you have the ability to interview and to talk to the management and see how well they've been running, talk to the residents and get an idea of what to expect. You know, is it an efficient? What is their mindset? Are they saving enough? Are they putting enough? Is like what's upcoming? You know, you can see what the issues are. You know exactly what you're getting. There's very little surprises. The one word of caution, a lot of times when as the buyers, we go in, we put an offer, the real estate agent will request a status certificate. We take the status certificate, we give it to a lawyer, they review it, they say everything's okay. What we have to realize is the status certificate is a snapshot and it doesn't always give you the full picture. So when you get the status certificate, you need to go a little bit deeper. You know, go into the property and talk to the residents. Like talk to people and see what issues they have. Because the thing is this, if it hasn't been approved or decided by the board, it's not going to show up in the status certificate. So a classic example could be you're walking into a building, you're seeing a $3 million reserve fund, the building is well run, the maintenance fees are low, you move in and 3 months later you find out that there's actually going to be a need for window replacement and so on, and there's almost a $10 million proposal for the renovation budget, which is a 30% increase or 60% increase in maintenance fees. Surprise. How would you know about that? It was not in the status certificate. By talking to the residents, by talking to the property and asking the property management, what's upcoming, how old is the roof, when do you think that's going to be being done? Like, we have to assume that major elements, like if the building is 20, 30 years old, then you know that certain things are going to be coming up. Waterproofing, roof, when have they been done? Have they been done or are they coming? If they haven't been done and they're not being declared in the status certificate, then by asking the question, you know that's coming. And then you have to look at how does the reserve fund add up to that, right? So that is just doing a little bit of extra research and not following blindly. A good real estate agent should be able to advise you on that and kind of guide you through the process. Unfortunately, in our industry, a lot of times, it's more like basically goes to the lawyer and it's just a comment of just by passing through. Do extra questions. Interview, go to the property, talk to the residents, you'll get a totally different feel. Because condominium, unlike a house, you buy into a lifestyle, you buy into a community that is going to affect your lifestyle. From a perspective of the new construction, we have to be very careful because a lot of times when we're coming in, we'll see 40 cents, 50 cents maintenance fees or condominium fees. The issue is that these are projected by the builder. The builder has a big incentive to under-project. Why? Because their reserve fund that they're building, that they have to create for the building is based on those projections. The lower they project, the less money they have to put into the fund. In addition, what we need to understand is this. we had a lot of issues with respect to construction during the last 4 or 5 years. As a result of that, there's a shortage of skilled labor, and what we're finding is that a lot of the new condominiums, you'll find leaks within the waterproofing or the building envelope, or deficiencies in plumbing and so on. Those warranties are only after the first 3 years. After 3 years, if the work wasn't done properly, you're going to incur all those problems. And so either the condominium corporation and the owners have to build up their reserve fund and operating budget. That means the maintenance fees will go up. And it's actually not uncommon when we see that in new condominiums, when the new board finally comes in and takes over from the builder, that within a year or two, they are actually forced to go in and, based on the new reserve study, increase condominium fees by 30–40%. They do jump. And that's because of a number of things. One, to meet deficiencies that they've acquired or inherited from the builder. Or if you're going to be fighting the builder, which means you're incurring litigation costs or legal costs, those costs to come from somewhere. That is operating budget that comes from increasing your condominium fees. So don't get fooled by low fees. Look at what the fees are on average in the area, and be assured that usually when you move into a new construction, those fees are subject to change. Versus an existing, you have a bit more control and you know exactly what you're heading with. So these are the things to consider.